All right, guys, we are back in sunny Florida after 30 hours of travel from Finland. That's right, 30 hours between driving, flying, 3 layovers. And what do we come back to? 110-degree weather. Absolutely insane. I think it might be the hottest it's ever been in Florida living here. Spending 2 weeks in Europe was great, but I'm stoked to be home. Feels good walking back into the shop. It's very easy to take things for granted, especially having a space like this. You know, when I'm away for a while and I go back in, I just look and I'm like, damn, this place is so cool. Especially having AC. Having worked in spaces without AC before, we are so fortunate to have it, and it is so nice to be able to just become cool and collected while wrenching on the builds. While I've been away, this thing got some body work and some fresh stickers going into St. Louis, which is in just 1 week. I'm excited to go out there. The setup that we had for E-Town, absolutely phenomenal, and it's going to be very similar to what we get to run in St. Louis, so I know the car is going to be fast, and I'm pumped up, especially after coming back from Europe. Feeling really good over there too. Now, you guys are watching this video on Tuesday, but Wednesday, aka tomorrow at midnight, is going to officially be the end of this beautiful orange S15 giveaway. It has been a massive team effort while we've been away. Every $5 that you spend on either LZMFG or Drift HQ is gonna get you entered for a chance to win this beautiful machine and $10,000 cash. It's been really challenging being away to announce all the product drops and stuff that we've had, one of which is this cool summer kit that I'm wearing right now and a bunch of other stuff, so make sure to go check out the site. You got like 24 hours left, so now's the time to pick something cool up, support what we do, and get entered for a chance to win a sweepstakes that could literally change your life. All the traveling and competing this year has been amazing, and I'm probably having the most fun I've ever had, both in Formula Drift and with Drift Masters, between driving, feeling really good in the car, and getting to hang out with some of my best friends and all over the world. But to be completely transparent, it has also posed a challenge in uploading regularly, especially with content revolved around the builds. Not only because we're not home often, but also obviously because it's my team now. We're traveling, we trade event days for days off, and of course, obviously cars can't be worked on while we're away. It can't just magically poof and happen. So I want to give you 2 pretty exciting updates before we jump into the main focus of today. One of which being that we do have V2 for the 4-rotor Supra coming soon. I never really talked about this because I honestly hate drama, especially putting it out there on YouTube. I have talked about it in some social media posts, but basically I sent out some housings and some plates to get some CNC engine mods, let's call it, done. That shop went under, held all my parts captive. So this right now that's been in the car is essentially a dummy motor that we just put in for PRI, and that's why I haven't been able to drive it. So I haven't talked about or made a video, even though this dude's holding like 6 grand of parts of mine in hostage. He's also doing that to about 100+ other people that I've seen on Facebook. And quite frankly, I didn't want to make a YouTube video sound like a whiny little bitch, just because there are people that are way worse off than I am. But essentially, to resolve it, I've ordered lots of new parts, but there is a lead time. So that car is getting resurrected, and then as you guys know, the 964 has been up in Canada. It should be done any day now with a spicy new engine setup that I'm very excited about. As I said though, the guys have been working together, full team, Booth and the Drift HQ boys, to get this thing where it is now, and we've got some fun updates for you. And I'm gonna walk you guys through what's been a fun process of seeing this thing come together. Just as a refresher, this thing is getting a very similar setup to my green S15, which means a Garrett G25 660 turbo mounted to an Artec manifold. Super snappy, great spool, and it feels great even on a stock engine like this. Should get us close to 400 horsepower. Another thing that is really, really important to note, if any of you guys are building SR20s, you'll see underneath the intake manifold, there's all these water lines. It's an absolute mess, and I, for one, have gotten stranded in a parking lot because of a leak that happened and not being able to properly fix it. So when you put all that stuff together, make sure you use the factory style pinch clamps and you orient them the right way. See how Sean's doing it right here? That way you can get underneath the intake manifold if you ever have an issue, and use all the proper rubber lines and stuff. Otherwise, you're just kind of asking for trouble. That's the only real thing that will take out an SR, so do your water lines right. And while we're talking about Garrett stuff, I want to remind you guys, we have one of the biggest sales that you will see all year happening right now on Drift HQ. All Garrett products up to 35% off. Turbos, wastegates, you name it. 35% is literally a deeper discount than dealers pay. So if you need a turbo, you need something Garrett, you can pick it up now and also get entered for a chance to win S15 too.
That's so small. We got some unicular piping stuff from Vibrant Performance, and pretty much what we're gonna do is delete this here, use this 120-degree bend to pretty much, it's gonna be somewhat like that. Yeah. Wrap it up above the power steering reservoir lines, and then put another bend on it to have a coupler sit about up here, and then go straight to the shot here. So nothing too complicated, but a couple of bends so it looks nice and OEM or JDM, very set, or
fancy.
Yep, it's just slightly better than the Green S15, and then from that we could do the intake side. Once the intercooler comes in, we could go and do the bottom section of the piping. I'll jump into the downpipe, and yeah.
Good.
Toilet disposal.
So the Drift HQ boys are in the house today,
Back at
putting
it.
in some time on the S15 giveaway car.
Yeah.
Everyone's
guys-
out of town, so we decided we'd just come over here and lend a hand.
Yeah,
We're going to our 4th of July event tomorrow,
Yep.
so we'd bust out this nice.
laundry list of things left.
Yeah, I just want to take a moment to appreciate Cricket's handwriting,
Right?
just real quick.
Way better than any of ours.
Yeah, I can't even print that good like with a typewriter. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we got a handful of little things we're gonna do, just a lot of plumbing and hoses and stuff that the guys didn't have time to get to before they left. So we're getting everything prepped and
Buttoned up, ready for dyno.
ready for dyno.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
That's what this list is for, because we will be gone, and dyno is on Monday. So it's technically only Tuesday right now, but we leave tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And everyone else is in Finland. So there'll be no one here. So we have to get through that list today. I think we can do it. We got one thing knocked off already. That was really easy.
Yeah.
Oh, return.
The hardest part is finding where all the parts are,
Right.
because no one's here.
Everything's all spread
And
out
everyone's on a
everywhere.
plane and isn't really able to answer our messages.
We don't have Wi-Fi. Yeah, we're shooting in the dark here. No, don't know where anything is.
You would think that international flights would be the ones to have Wi-Fi the most,
Right?
but it's the ones that have the Wi-Fi the least.
I mean, think about it. It lets you unplug for 8 to 10 hours. You don't know what's going on. The world
Right.
could be ending, and you're just enjoying your food on the plane.
Yeah, you,
Yeah, I'm just sleeping the whole time on the plane anyways, at least long flights.
you'll find out when you land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we live? Did we make it?
So this is a must-do for SR20s if you're running the PRP kit.
We had to watch Jimmy's video.
I know. It took a second.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't read the directions either, so, in our defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said,
We didn't have any directions with ours.
you be a man, you find out the hard way.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
So
Trial and error. They didn't fit the first time. Gotta cut them down.
So we were 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 5th one we're cutting.
Yep. Per Jimmy's video.
So if he's right, look, we got Drift
probably
HQ
should have
next
watched
to
the
it.
rest of the video to make sure it started up before. Like, oh, I cut those too short, and we're over here following suit. Like, whoops.
They do cut like butter, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Love that. Seems better.
Makes more
Now am I
sense.
supposed to cut these springs down too? Or?
Or just have them compress more.
I'm gonna go with the compress more option.
Yeah.
I like that better.
Round 2.
Now, question for you.
No.
Before you install that, we have to replace that cover anyways. So is this just...
So they can dyno with this belt.
Oh,
It's got a
okay.
fresh gasket.
All right, so just
So
make sure you're not doing...
this won't be final form. Look at that.
Oh,
It's all the way down now.
much
Look
better.
at that.
Beautiful.
Yep.
The last thing you have to do.
All right, yeah. Shave the front of that guy down too. You're gonna need that. And then
not
it
covered.
will actually go in its home. Do the thing we like. Look at that. Boom.
There we go. Clears the front here. That's why that little PRP bracket's there, included with the kit.
And that guy bolts up too.
One of the things that helps building a car like this in such a short timeline is having a wiring harness that is beautiful and already completed for you. So this is fresh out of the box from Wiring Specialties. Now, if you guys have been in the S-Chassis game for a while, you already know what Wiring Specialties is. Literally my first S13 that I bought now, probably, is it over 10 years ago? That's crazy to say. Literally came with the Wiring Specialties already in it, because if you're doing any sort of swap in an S-Chassis, they probably make a harness that will plug into whatever you need. So this beautiful unit right here comes all terminated, labeled, literally with a pinout sheet. So we can just plug everything right in and fire right up. Now, you can build your own harness, but I can tell you, you don't want to cost yourself an engine by having a bad connection or something. All of their stuff is bench tested. And I know for me, it can be confusing and kind of tricky ordering a harness. It probably is for you guys too. So here is my advice to you. What you'll want to do first is actually talk to your tuner. Now, I always recommend to use the ECU that is most familiar to your tuner. Now, in this case, it is a Link plug and play. We've been using Links on all the builds lately and have been super happy with everything. They support my program, and chances are your tuner's probably already familiar with Link, but your tuner is also going to have very specific requests as it relates to sensors and other configuration details with your harness. So talk to them and they will help you pick out all the details you need. So in my case, I talked to Freddie, since he's gonna be the one tuning this car. I said, what do you want for all these sensors, so I can just check all the right boxes? He helped. Now, we do sell Wiring Specialties harnesses on Drift HQ, so we can help you too, but I always recommend talking to your tuner, because they're gonna be the one that's complaining to you if you get something wrong. ECU wise, like I mentioned, this thing is getting a Link plug and play, which just installs inside the factory ECU. Nice, simple. One of my favorite things, especially in an S15, where you have these beautiful little factory gauge pod style vents, we can install a Link CAN gauge, so you guys will be able to go through and kind of look at any parameters. In my drift car, I use it a lot for coolant and boost pressure, just to see if anything's acting up. But anything that is available on the ECU, it can access via CAN, and it doesn't require having an ugly gauge pod mounted somewhere.
Cricket Fab back in the house.
Yeah, gotta find the stuff that I need. I need two 2.5-inch 90s and two 2 3/4-inch 90s. I currently have 190 for the 2 3/4 and 190 for the 2.5, and now I'm trying to find the rest of it.
This sounds very familiar to a certain Supra or Century.
Yeah, so I don't have another 2.5 90, which I thought I did. I do have two 2.5 45-degree bends, so I'm gonna have to take and cut those apart and weld them together and make them into a 90, because we have to get this thing ready for the dyno today. So we can't wait on parts. So I'm gonna take and chop this bad boy here, do the same thing to this one, weld them together, and then I'll have to find another 2.5 or 2 3/4 90, or do the same thing. My job's real easy. I just have to connect the hot side intercooler piping to the intercooler, and then from the cold side of it up to the intake manifold. And Johan has already done the down for it, so I literally have to do like 2 welds on each side. So it's really easy for me. It's maybe half hour worth of work, and then I'm gonna help Boothie out and try to help him get finished up for everything else, because this bad boy's going to dyno today.
Yeah.
What do you think it's gonna make for power there, Booth?
400.
400? Okay, let's go.
How you feeling?
Pretty good. This is not quite 90, so we're gonna have to take a little bit out of it. If you see, there's a gap there to get this even with the 90.
Little one, yeah.
Yeah, and that's because of where everything fits in there is really, really tight. So if it can't get 90, that's fine. We can make it into it, because I want this to be perfectly level with the frame rail itself.
Yeah.
That way this is nice and level as well, so aesthetically pleasing, as well as, you know, above everything else, and as tight to the frame rail as we can get, so the wheel doesn't by chance get in the way.
Yup.
So right now we're just going to measure the distance between the outside of this and the outside of this, and that will tell me how much I have to cut off of this side to be able to fit it in there with the coupler.
Nice.
So nice and easy measurements. So those of you who don't have an aluminum welder and just buy your pre-bent pipes and everything, Vibrant also sells a bead roller that works perfect for making beads. If you don't want to try and take and weld an edge around there, that's another option you can do when putting these in, but it's really easy. You just put it in there and just start turning it. I think that'll be tight. There we go.
Look at that.
Perfect bead every time.
It's so easy.
Right?
That's crazy.
Now, if you have a different bead roller, you guys know that it can go in and out a lot farther. So this is actually set for the proper depth and it keeps it there. So it keeps it nice and even the whole time. Versus using like your Eastwood bead rollers and stuff, you can slide in like 16 to 18 inches. Like, where'd your bead roller go? So right behind you. So like that one, you can go in 48 inches on that bead roller. So it's really hard to get the line perfect. So with the Vibrant one, it has a little flat piece for it, and it just keeps it right there, nice and even.
Nice and bottomed out.
Yeah, it's perfect. Love to see it. Thanks, Vibrant.
Fuel system on this thing's actually incredibly simple. We're basically mimicking the exact same thing I did on my first S13. You can utilize the factory hard lines and then just make sure you change the rubber pieces to E85 compatible line. We use Vibrant, of course. The fuel pump, very simple. You can actually use this as a direct replacement. The DW400 is usually good for around 500 wheel on ethanol. This car is going to be under that, so I like to keep it simple rather than complicating things. I've run this on many S chassis and I know it works. For injectors, we have 4 Dishworks 1000 cc's ethanol compatible. We run Dishworks injectors on literally every single build and we've never had an injector issue. And we put them through their paces, 1200 horsepower, literally competition every single weekend. You guys will never have an issue on your street car. The customer support's great and the price is too. Like a lot of our other builds, this thing has a Radium fuel rail installed, and one very trick bit that has become a new favorite of mine that Radium released not too long ago is the direct fuel rail mounted fuel pressure regulator. Now what's cool about this is it solves you needing to mount it to the firewall and running extra lines. It's nice, compact, simple, and I've made well over 700 horsepower on ethanol with these things, so even though they're small, they can handle a lot. What you're looking at here, I would say, is about 90% complete. It's ready to go on the dyno. There's still a couple little things to tidy up to make it absolutely perfect, but I realized that I haven't gone into the greatest detail with the actual power package on this. So to keep things simple, this is actually a completely stock long block. Now on the S15 engines, you do have a factory MLS head gasket, and I know safely with the G25, we'll be able to make close to 400 horsepower, probably over if I wanted to do cams and do drop-in head studs. But kind of intentionally, I want to leave this thing as reliable as humanly possible. My concern is that this car actually has the 6-speed, right? Because it's a full Spec R drivetrain swap. But the problem with it is actually that the 6 speeds are less strong than the 5 speeds. So these 6 speeds are actually the same as the Miata 6-speed, and they kind of turn to glass anything over 400 horsepower, especially if you're abusive. Underneath, especially if you don't have a crazy stiff clutch, they'll last. But I wanted to stay with the 6-speed just because I feel like it belongs in the S15. The gear ratios are nice and everything's really happy. But that means this isn't going to be a big power build. It'll still be super snappy. It'll still spool really good. Freddie can probably make 500 horsepower if we want him to. But we are very busy people and we don't have time to build an SR20. So we leave simple.
time. What do you think? We're doing the gentleman's agreement on this thing, or
Like horsepower
Yeah,
wise?
275 flat.
275?
No.
That's a gentleman's
It's
agreement.
making 400. I don't give a
No, it's not. No, it ain't. Head gasket gone.
No, it's not.
Brother in Christ, take it easy.
I've been doing this.
Oh man, what's realistic? What do you think?
Like, we'll keep it soft on gas, so like high 2s, low 3s, and then on ethanol, mid to high 3s.
Okay, enough to have fun.
Yeah, it's a street car, so it's not loaded as much as a drift car.
Yeah.
So you could push it more, but there's no sense.
Good. It's great.
Could.
Great.
That's a lot of bleeps. That's like $25.
Per year, that making 400.
You want to see the text?
It's hot down here in Florida, folks.
Car good, boost more good, more up.
So up boost time now.
Yeah, it's hot.
Oh, okay.
And the fumes are getting
400 horsepower.
Shut up, Sean.
Okay,
Stop
sorry.
talking.
Good rig.
No
No,
issues.
everything's going
No
good.
leaks. Couplers popping.
Dude, it's at 9 pounds of boost.
Racegate's
at
working.
Hookman.
Relax. Relax.
Relax. Power steering's puking everywhere.
Nope.
Love that.
Hey.
Love to see it. How'd it go? How was the final numbers with E85?
It had 373 horse, 300 torque.
Nice.
On like E75 blend, we mixed pump ethanol and ignite
Okay.
to get like an average blend with what you would get from the the gas.
Yeah.
But his pump ethanol was like 60%, so we topped it off with a little bit of ignite.
Okay.
17 pounds of boost in the mid range, and then 19 up top, just to keep the torque flat.
Yeah. Nice, smooth, fun power band. Hell yeah. Good rig.
It is good.
Unfortunately, it's about to downpour, so I didn't get to spend as much time with this thing out to fully show you how cool it is. But like the whole picture of this car, the interior, even the orange stitching on the steering wheel, and of course, the engine bay, this thing came out really good. Best thing is for you guys, if you like how my green S15 sounds, it literally sounds identical. I haven't driven it yet, but I did a quick little burnout. It pretty much feels identical too, but listen to this. It's so good. It's very, very beautiful too. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is the best, I was gonna say this is the best orange S15 in the US. I feel pretty confident saying that, but then someone's gonna DM me like someone will have a beautiful S15 that they spent like 3 years building and I'm gonna look like an This is the nicest orange S15 we have ever built.
There you go.
Wait a second, my other S15 is kind of orange. It's different though. This is the nicest orange S15 street car that we will ever build this year. I don't know. You get the point. It's really nice. It's definitely nicer than my green car. Yeah. It's definitely nicer than my yellow car. It's definitely nicer as a street car than my FD car. You're gonna be really happy with it. We'll take it for a quick spin so you guys can kind of see what this thing puts down before it downpours. Florida every day. does this. So yeah, let's hop in and take it for a spin. All right, let's take this thing on a little pre-rain cruise. I actually used a Nismo copper mix clutch in this car. Very, very streetable, very smooth and easy on the 6-speed gearbox. It's already warm, so we'll give it a quick little, very smooth. Stock Nismo, I shouldn't say stock, Nismo engine mounts, just because 4-cylinders get very vibraty when you put anything else in them. Infinitely better than what my yellow car felt like when it had the stock turbo on it. But just give you guys a little taste. It's a good rig. Oh, wow, I thought the wheels were gonna like rub something turning. Is Gucci. I want to drift this thing, but I also don't, because I would cry if I like mess up a front fender or buckle something, because it's kind of low right now. Also, the giveaway ends tomorrow. Also, if you want me to drift it, I'll drift it tomorrow if you comment, but if you don't want me to drift it, I won't drift it. I'm always torn because I don't want it to look like we're beating on the cars that we build for giveaways, but I also want to make it look like we beat on the cars that we build for giveaways, so you guys can be confident that you can beat on them too. Because quite frankly, we're not a channel that just builds cars and doesn't beat on them. If I build something, I wanted to have my seal of approval, and you guys can beat the absolute crap out of it. But I also don't want you to think that I don't take care of things, because that would be rude. Get some cruising sound effects going. Even going slow, you just get the nice little turbo whistle, nice little flutter. It's good. I'm really bummed I don't get to spend more time driving this car. Ride's really, really nice too. Wish it wasn't raining so I got to take that car on a little bit more of a drive. One thing I do want to give you guys heads up on, I know all of you don't necessarily make it to the end of the video, but hopefully those of you that do will care to maybe join me tomorrow. For the first time in a very long time, I'm actually announcing when I'm going to do a live stream rather than just doing it spur of the moment. So don't expect anything insane. I was just going to hang out around like 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I figure that's probably the best bet for all the different time zones that you guys are watching from. So come hang out, ask me some questions. I can kind of download on a lot of stuff that's been going on with racing, other builds, stuff like that. Given how difficult it's been to manage a full like paint job / entire car build like that S15 with the racing schedule and everything, I can tell you right now the next giveaway build that we do will probably be more like the F80, where it's a newer car that doesn't require a whole lot of building, because I want to get back to building some of our own projects. And maybe you guys can give some suggestions there, or we can just talk about it tomorrow on the live stream. But either way, it's good to be back home, even if it is only for a week and a half. So hopefully the jet lag won't be hitting me as bad tomorrow as it is right now, and I'll see you guys soon.
It's making 400. It's not. No, it ain't. Head gasket gone.
No, it's not.
There's no sense. Could. That's a lot of bleeps. That's like $25.
Over here, that's making 400. You want to see the